Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here on such short notice. This place isn't bugged, is it?
Bugged? Wait, Jamie, what's going on?
It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
That's all I paid for it.
I think I need to get back to you on that.
Do you know what you want?
Yeah, I do now.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. Get the car or SUV you've always wanted, plus America's best warranty at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. The guilt is real, but so is the savings.
Listen, I don't want to get in your business, but if that's all she paid for it, I'll have what she's having.
It's a great day for a new Hyundai at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event going on now. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Cassie Spazzali.
I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We are into game week. Brian Kelly preview in Clemson. We got Saints roster cuts. Ross Jackson next hour. Former Tiger Chris Carrier in hour 3. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Ah, yes. Drink it in. We have made it to game week at long last. We have spent many months, 8 full months, in fact, since LSU beat Baylor in the Texas Bowl, counting down to this moment, a signing class, a portal class, spring football, more portal additions after spring, summer workouts, fall camp, talking season, all of it now. We are just a handful of days away from LSU and Clemson, the game that's been scheduled for nearly a decade and finally is nigh. So LSU and Clemson, Brian Kelly took the podium on Monday to preview the game. And one of the things that he led with, it was so interesting, is discussing the makeup of this team encompassing all of that stuff. And that's how he led on Monday. Play number 1, please. Whenever you got it.
We've been working on this since January. After our Baylor win, the bowl game, we went to work on our roster, our process in developing this football team, so that when we get to these moments, right, it's having a team that is confident, that plays the game the right way in a hostile environment. Many would say composure, maturity, and they've got to play with great competitiveness. Each and every play is going to be important for us. So, when you're putting together the DNA of a football team, it's not just about talent acquisition. It's making sure that you have the pieces necessary to compete in those moments. What's the makeup of your team? I like the makeup.
I like to hear that he likes the makeup of his team. Brian Kelly actually joked with us a good bit during the press conference. He's talking about, just the confidence this team has. He gave sort of an unintentionally comical answer, talking about some of the guys in the secondary, how they make a play, you don't see them do the big arm wave incomplete or the seatbelt sign. He called it a sword. We're all like, no, man, they're doing a seatbelt. But the point remains, you have a mature group that has accomplished an awful lot. Mansour Delane played at Virginia Tech. He's played at Clemson. If Braylon Moore played at Virginia Tech, he's played at Clemson. Tamarcus Cooley played at NC State. He's played at Clemson. This isn't new for any of those guys. You look at guys like Jack Pyburn and Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler, who's at Nebraska in his sixth season. All these guys have been through these battles before, not specifically at Clemson, but you don't have this totally, well, you have a lot of new faces wearing LSU uniforms. The whole experience of going on the road, having massive expectations in a Power 5, Power 4 environment, tens of thousands of people cheering against you. They've all done it. And your starting quarterback has done it as well. And I think that's probably the biggest difference this year for Brian Kelly than any of the previous. And I know we have harped on all offseason the 5 straight openers lost. And I think context does matter. 2 of those were under Ed Ogeron. So Brian Kelly's 0-3 in openers. We think back to that first Florida State game, and with the benefit of hindsight, we can look back and say, I guess we understand, man. Garrett Dellinger was playing center. Brian Kelly inherited so much that was culturally eroding under Ogeron, and they just weren't ready at that point. And you saw tremendous progress throughout that year. It's where they ultimately beat Bama, won the West. 2023, that was a fantastic Florida State team. And we found that LSU defense was atrocious. The one that I put an asterisk next to, and I say that's the one that you had no business losing, was losing last year in Vegas to that USC team. But with the benefit of hindsight, we also look back and we go, that was a roster where LSU spent $5.5 million. This is one where they got nearly $20 million in it. You spend 4 times the money, you should expect a better result. And we look back and we go, well, you had Major Burns and you had Sage Ryan and Jordan Gilbert playing with one shoulder, and you had a freshman out there and in that opener, and Deshaun Spears, expecting him to make key plays. Harold Perkins was still out of position. There was just a lot you didn't know about your team at that game a year ago. But still, that's the one that got away, the one you probably should have won. This is one where, despite all the things that I just said that you love the makeup, the experience, the veteran, the accomplishments, all that stuff, this is still the most difficult ask to go on the road to Clemson in a true road environment against a team returning more production than any other team in college football that, oh, by the way, was a playoff team a year ago. So it's a mighty big ask. But I asked Brian Kelly what he sees as the biggest difference, like how he feels today, game week of the opener, as opposed to each of his last 3.
I think it's an evolution, right? Each year you're developing depth, you're developing a DNA within your team where you know much more about them in terms of what to expect. But I think at the end of the day, this is about depth, and probably the most depth in the roster. Now, we still got to go out and play and perform at the highest level, but I would just say what's different is it's a mature group that has played a lot of football, and we're not going into a game where we can't handle the moment.
I think that last line there is the one that's the most seminal, the most integral part of the point I'm making, which is you got a group that going in a situation where it's not that they can't handle the moment. Garrett Nussmeier, won a giant game last year at home against Ole Miss. He's faced challenges on the road against Texas A&M. They won on the road last year against Arkansas. And you go down the list of all these guys. Even for all of the offensive line conversation, losing guys that combined it for 170 career games played, the top 7 guys you're going to count on this year have combined to play over 100 games with over 60 starts. So, but now you're including guys like Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson, who were 2-year starters at other schools. You've got talent and you've got depth and you've got experience in this group. You just don't have experience together. And that's going to be the thing that they're going to have to to work on blending. Brian Kelly did say on Monday that don't be surprised if the top 8 offensive linemen all play in this game. I don't think it's going to be a free-flowing rotation, but you're going to see them all play in this game, and that's going to be something that I think is a big challenge. But this is a team that's got great talent, great leadership, great depth, and a great opportunity to go play their way into the college football playoff and quite possibly win a national championship. And, of course, we also learned on Saturday that, or Sunday morning, I should say, that Garrett Nussmeier is going to wear the number 18 jersey. He becomes the first quarterback since Matt Mauck to do so. If you remember, back at SEC football media days, we had Garrett with us, and I asked him point blank, I asked him why he wears 13. And the reason he gave for wearing 13, he said, well, his dad wore 13. He loves that number. And when 13 wasn't available, when he showed up at LSU, because Jontre Kirkland was wearing 13, he chose 5 because 13 and 5 are kind of the two numbers. 5 is the number that a lot of the quarterbacks his dad coached wore 5. Like Drew Stanton at Michigan State wore 5. His dad coached him. So those were kind of the numbers. But whenever Jontre Kirkland left, Nuss took 13. That obviously opened up 5 for Jaden Daniels, and that worked out pretty well. But for the first time, Garrett Nussmeier is going to move to 18. And I asked him, despite all the affection he has for 13, if he would accept 18 if they asked him. Here's what he said back in July.
If they do ask you to wear 18, would you do it?
100%. I love 13. It means the world to me, but to be able to wear 18 at LSU, that's special. And it would be an honor. I would not be able to say no to that. So, obviously, I've always never thought about it as a way that I want to go ask for it or anything like that. I don't believe that I've earned that or anything of that sort. The coaches make that decision. And, if I was chosen and it was me to wear 18, then I would definitely wear that with a lot of pride.
So Garrett Nussmeier becomes the first quarterback since Matt Mauck back in 2003 to wear 18. That's when the whole 18 tradition started. Mauck passed it, of course, to Jake Gepester, who then passed it to Richard Dixon and so on. Worked out for the last quarterback to wear 18. We'll see if they could do it again this year with Garrett Nussmeier under center with new digits as LSU will head to Clemson. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We got a ton to talk about from Brian Kelly's press conference today. At the top of hour 2, I am going to run through my practice recap from Saturday. They didn't actually scrimmage. It was much more of a dress rehearsal, but I will go through what we saw, what we learned, all that stuff, and we'll get into that as we move throughout the show today. Let me knock out a quick break. The Saints wrapped up preseason on Saturday. Kellen Moore still is not named a starter, and they have begun their roster cuts. So we'll get into what are some of the more notable names that you need to know that are no longer with the New Orleans Saints and what that means for this team as they move toward the deadline, which is 3 o'clock Central on Tuesday, to be down from 90 to 53. So Saints are well on their way to doing that. We'll get you updated next on AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. And right now, Gordon's bringing it back. The 3rd annual Get Gordon Billboard Design Contest. It's easy. Go to getgordon.com/billboards, getgordon.com/billboards, and submit your billboard design. It's easy. Get creative. You could win up to $2,000 in prizes. They'll also make a donation to a charity of your choice. And, of course, you have the opportunity to see your billboard design on billboards across the state. So go to getgordon.com/billboards to learn more about the contest, to get all the rules and regs. It's on their social media as well. If you go to @GetGordon on any of the social media channels, you can learn. You still got a few weeks to get your designs in, but learn more today. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Was in such a rush there. Forgot to remind you about Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers, the official beer of the Saints. Football season's here, y'all. You're going to be drinking or you're going to be watching football. Make sure you're drinking the delicious taste of ice-cold Bud Light. Our friends over at Mockler Beverage have been great partners of the Tigers and the Saints for 4 decades. So we're thrilled to carry that into a new football season. Of course, the officially licensed LSU Bud Light cans and aluminum bottles are available now. An ode to LSU's white jerseys at home. They're white bottles, aluminum bottles and cans with the Bud Light logo. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All All right, it's after further review. Kellen Moore met with reporters on Monday and naturally was asked about whether or not they're going to name a starter, and it shouldn't be surprising.
Quarterback-wise, we'll communicate that once we've talked through that with everyone associated with that decision, and so we'll go through that process in the next little bit, and so we'll communicate that with you guys once the appropriate time reaches it.
Okay, so not ready to name a starting quarterback. Naturally, there were follow-ups from reporters. This is how that interaction went.
So you've made a decision on the quarterback, but you're not announcing it yet?
No, we're talking through. We'll talk through that stuff, and then we'll get there.
How far away are you from making the decision?
Yeah, obviously pretty close. Time's coming up. We're getting ready for Arizona, and so it'll happen soon.
Yeah. You're 13 days away from the opener. I mean, you play on the 7th. You play 2 weeks from yesterday. There's 32 teams in the NFL. 31 of the 32 have named a starting quarterback. It's not necessarily that you have to do what every other team's doing, but if everyone's ebbing and you're flowing, sometimes it's fair to wonder, like, why is everyone going that way on the interstate and we're the only car going that way? Oh, maybe because they're all going that way to get away from the devastating storm that's coming. It's like an Independence Day when Jeff Goldblum and his dad are the only ones going into D.C. when everyone's running away from the spaceship. It's a dated reference. Sorry for those that don't get it. Watch the movie if you haven't. It's a good one. Will Smith punches an alien. Yeah, I mean, eventually you got to make a decision. And you have enough of a sample size now, and you have enough evidence to decide. You went through all of training camp. You went through all of training camp practices. You went through 3 preseason games. Like, what more are you going to learn between now and the opener to help you make a decision? Like, you've got enough evidence. So make your decision and begin preparing in earnest to try to go win the opener against Arizona with the quarterbacks and the rest of the team knowing who the starter is going to be in that game. Moore was also asked if this is basically taking longer and warranting more discussion than he thought it was going to when they started this whole thing.
We'll get all that stuff locked down really shortly. I think our main focus is it's really challenging to get to 53 guys right now. And so that's a really difficult task. And we understand there's a lot of other things that everyone wants to get the answers to rather quickly. But, we're really honing in on that here in the next 24 hours. And then, we'll get that in the appropriate time for everyone.
So we will learn what, the Saints, we always say the final 53, but in fairness, it's never really the final 53. It's the first 53. So on Tuesday at 3 o'clock Central, the Saints and every other team will have to have gone from 90 to 53. So they're going to cut 37 players from their 90-man roster to get to 53. And that's always it's always interesting because as soon as you get to 53, inevitably that's going to change the very next day. Because you're going to look at every other team, and with 31 other teams cutting 37 players, you're going to be looking at quite literally hundreds of players that become free agents instantly, and somebody out there might be a better option than someone you presently have. So it could always change. For what it's worth, we do have a running tracker, a Saints roster tracker up at LouisianaSports.net. This is updated live. I'll give you as of 3:21 Central Time here on Monday, these are the names we know that have either been released, waived. Cam Akers, the running back, has been released. Among the wide receivers, Moochie Dixon and Roderick Douglas have been waived. The tight ends, Michael Jacobson, Seth Green, have been waived. On the offensive line, Kyle Hergel, Josiah Ezerim, Mike Panasuik, and Jonathan Mendoza have all been waived. On the defensive line, Jeremiah Martin, Jasheen Davis, Amari Thomas, they've all been waived. Tyreen Powell is the one linebacker that's been waived up until this point. And the specialist punter, James Burnip, has been waived, which would signify that Kai Kroger has won the punting job, which I don't think is a great surprise. But that's where it stands as of right now, with certainly many more changes to come between this very moment and 3 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday. But we are going to continue, as they cut to 53, talking about what they're going to do at quarterback. And I don't know that we got any more clarification from that third preseason game. I don't think there was anything so definitively different in the third preseason game that would lean you to believe one over the other. Spencer Rattler got the start. He was 5 of 8 passing for 43 yards. Tyler Shuck was 12 of 20 passing for 102 yards, neither threw a touchdown, neither threw an interception. Both were sacked once. Each had a quarterback rating in the mid-70s. Shuck at 73, Rattler at 76. I mentioned Ross Jackson has a piece up at LouisianaSports.net where he charted every single rep, every practice rep, team and 11 on 11 for all three quarterbacks. And he's got all the reps listed, the final stats listed right now for Rattler and Shuck. I mean, this is it. Throughout all of camp and preseason, Spencer Rattler, 194 of 274, completed 70.8% of his passes, 17 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, 7 picks. Tyler Shuck, 163 of 266. That's 61% completion, so 9 points lower than Rattler on the completion percentage. 11 passing touchdowns, that's 6 fewer. 2 rushing touchdowns, that's 1 fewer. 5 interceptions, that's 2 fewer than Rattler. So Rattler threw better completion percentage, more yards, more rushing to an extra rushing touchdown, but Rattler did have 2 more interceptions than Shuck. As one of the things Ross noted, a lot of those were throwaways for Tyler Shuck. Maybe that's good decision-making. You make up your own mind of what all that means. I think I've landed pretty consistently on the fact that I think both guys are going to play and are going to play a lot, maybe not in the opener against Arizona. You had a third preseason game where you did play your starters, and at least at the beginning of the game, and it was Spencer Rattler who got the start in that game. So if you're going to have your starting offensive line and you're going to put Kamara out there and Juwan Johnson go play your starters, and you give a game opportunity to Spencer Rattler to play with the starters, that probably means Rattler maybe has the edge there. I think in time, there is an inevitability that this coaching staff, which knew they had Spencer Rattler and still went and drafted Tyler Shuck with the 40th overall pick, is going to ultimately lean on the guy they picked, the guy they selected to go be their starting quarterback. So, again, I think week 1 against Arizona, if I had to guess today, Spencer Rattler, I think, is the starter week 1 against Arizona. Subsequent to that, when the Saints stink, and they're going to stink this year, I think Tyler Shuck ultimately will get his shot. Both quarterbacks did speak with reporters after the game on Saturday. Tyler Shuck said, quote, "I'm fully capable to go out there and lead the charge." Spencer Rattler said he believes he's shown what he needs to do to claim the job. Both guys think they're going to win it. We'll ultimately see what direction that they go. But Kellen Moore is kind of running out of time as of right now to name that starter and get on the practice field and get working with your first unit, letting everybody know in alignment who is going to be the starting quarterback for this team. But the Saints are quite literally the last team in the NFL not to name their starting quarterback. So, I don't see any reality where the New Orleans Saints have one quarterback who starts all 17 games this year. And injuries happen, but I'm saying injury notwithstanding. My point remains. I think you will see both Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck emerge after this season, having started games, plural, for the New Orleans Saints. But I do think it'll be Rattler first. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. We have locations all over South Louisiana. You're never far from a Shawbills location. Told you last week, my buddy Martin over at Shawbills, they've got their kickoff special going on right now over at Shawbills through the rest of this month. So you've only got about 6 more days to take advantage of this. Michelin and Toyo only. Buy 3, get the 4th tire free when you use your existing or new Shawbills credit card, or buy 3, get the 4th tire half off with any other form of payment. There's no gimmick. It's not inflated pricing. It's just a great deal from our friends over at Shawbills. It's their kickoff special for Michelin and Toyo only. Check them out at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. It's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us. You can text in the 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you can get involved in the show. We appreciate that. Get a lot of predictions, starting to get a lot of season predictions in for the LSU Tigers. Interestingly enough, my buddy Barrett Salee, who for a long time was at CBS. Prior to that was at where's Barrett before CBS? I'm blank. Anyway, Barrett's covered the SEC for a lot of years. Anyway, I just got a notification on Instagram. He collabed with me on a post. Apparently, this is on his Twitter. He says, I'm no longer in the college football game, so take my pick with a grain of salt. But he says, LSU is going to win the national championship. And for whatever it's worth, Barrett's a guy who I believe went to Auburn. Barrett's either an Auburn or a Georgia guy. He's on one side of that rivalry. I don't remember exactly. So it's not like he's got some inherent bias to or against LSU. But Barrett's elite picked LSU to win the national championship. I think you're seeing this weird dichotomy with folks that are picking LSU's season. Like I noticed some of you sent me Josh Pate, who we spoke with at SEC Media Days. Josh Pate has LSU going 8-4. I think generally the feeling on this LSU team is one of two ways. They're either looking at LSU going, in a year where very few people, especially teams in the SEC, have a proven starting quarterback. LSU returns the most proven quarterback in the league and just went ham in the portal like Ohio State did a year ago, put together an awesome roster, and they're going to be awesome and go win a championship. The other side of it is people say that look at LSU and go, I need LSU vis-a-vis Brian Kelly to prove me wrong. And so they're going to err on the side of, you got to prove it to me before I believe it. I think that's where a lot of people are falling with the 8 wins. The strange thing for me is like, and I know it's going to be hard for anybody to take me objectively whenever I talk about Alabama because all the Bama's burning stuff. And I'll own that. I mean, that's I did that to myself. So if you don't take me seriously, that's fine. But I was right about Alabama last year. I picked them 9-3. When everybody thought they wouldn't miss a beat, and Kalen DeBoer and all that sort of stuff, I picked them 9-3. I said, you don't get to lose Nick Saban and 50 play, you turn over half your roster and not miss a beat. And they lost 4 games. And I'll tell you the same thing this year. A lot of people are still giving Alabama the benefit of the doubt when they lost 40 players off of last year's roster. They have a new quarterback who's starting for the first time. More of Nick Saban's culture has eroded. I don't get it. Like, I don't get why people are giving Kalen DeBoer's Alabama the benefit of the doubt. I get it with Kirby Smart. I get it because he's Kirby. It's still Kirby Smart. It's still his program. Kirby at SEC Media Days told us the youngest roster he's ever had at Georgia. They'll have a new starting quarterback. Last year, by the way, they were second to last ahead of only LSU, second to last in rushing offense last year. But they still won the SEC. Georgia has earned the benefit of the doubt. So I think for a lot of people, as they look at LSU, they don't feel like Brian Kelly has earned the benefit of the doubt. I don't blame them. So if that's where people stand today on LSU, but you're going to have people that look at this program that has won championships with the last 3 head coaches. There's plenty enough talent on this team. A coach that has been to a BCS championship game, 2 college football playoffs, and think this is the year they break through. Start to get answers on Saturday. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Ross Jackson will be here in about 45 minutes. We'll get his take on the final preseason game, the quarterback stuff, roster cuts. It's all coming up in about 45 minutes. Don't move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagonair Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. And oh, by the way, if you are a deer hunter, great news. They got it all. Buckbusters, Rice Bran, deer corn. They got it all at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. So if you are Mobucks, so if you are going to put out them plots, starting to bring old Bambi in, so bow, when the time is right, Clegg's can help you out. Get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations, or maybe you're just looking to, Plant that fall vegetable garden. They already have some of their fall decor starting to come in as well. If it's time to decorate for fall or get those fall bedding plants in the ground, you can do it today, courtesy of Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
Think about how LSU's lost some of these games, right? Were they better than USC last year? They didn't win, but they felt like they maybe shoulda, coulda. The Florida State game a couple years ago was in Orlando, wasn't it? And it was like they're trading punches early, and then, they end up on the wrong end of that one. If they go in and it's a hotly contested game that they lose, right, and nothing egregious happens, and you take the L, you go home. It's not eliminating. It's not disqualifying. I feel like it'd be far more significant if LSU did it, A, because it's on the road, and B, their schedule's a hell of a lot harder than Clemson's is the rest of the way.
That was Scott Van Pelt on the C-Ball Get Ball podcast with David Pollack. And I think that's one of the things that I would underscore talking about this game, as we will continue to do so as we head throughout the week. I don't think this is an eliminator in any way for LSU. My pick for this season, I'll spoil it. I've given it several different places, so I'll say it now. I think LSU is a 10-2 football team. I do think they lose the opener to Clemson, which I've said all off season. And I think they'll go 7-1 in the conference, get to Atlanta, play Texas, win the SEC championship game against Texas, and make the playoff. So I don't think it's an eliminator. What would be interesting is if LSU goes, let's say hypothetically, they lose to Clemson and then go 6-2 in the league. So they end up 9-3. Does the committee punish, air quotes, LSU for playing that Clemson game on the road? Does that become the thing that puts them on the outside looking in as a 9-3 team? Remember, no 9-3 team made the playoff a year ago. Ole Miss, Alabama, South Carolina were three SEC teams that went 9-3 and found themselves on the outside looking in. There was no way necessarily for the committee, or the committee struggled to differentiate there among the three. And so, as I've said so often, they take the path of least resistance. Oh, put SMU in. Oh, put 11-1 Indiana in because they're 11-1. Okay, well, what you just did was you told the entire collective college football world that playing an opener against Clemson is meaningless, because if you lose it's not going to help you. You'd rather go 11-1 like Indiana, playing one ranked team all season, losing that game, but being 11-1 and getting in the playoff. That's what the committee said. That's why people have asked me since last week we did the permanent opponent competition or conversation, and I told you I want to see LSU play Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Mississippi State every year as 3 permanents. And people said, Scone, but you're the guy who always says I want to see better games. Yes, I do. When it's an equitable schedule, when everybody is doing it, because there's no sense in voluntarily putting yourself at a disadvantage. Follow me. I want to see a world in college football where everybody plays an equitable schedule. But in the absence of that, if we're living in a world where the committee is telling you 11-1 Indiana gets in because they're 11-1 regardless of who they played, and 9-3 Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina are out, that's a problem in my point of view, which is why I want an expanded playoff. You go to 16, guess what? All those teams get in. And you find where they are 1, 16, 2, 8, 5, whatever, let it all play out how it is. You're going to go play it on the field. But everybody is in and has their opportunity. So that's what I would like to see in an eventuality. Sans that, an expanded playoff and an actual system where people can get in based on merit and not just because the self-important dopes in the hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas, debating things like game control and defensive efficiency metrics, have deemed them worthy. Yeah. Give me what is the path into the playoff, because that's the objective here, to get into the playoff and win. But so that will be, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but that would be in December, the fascinating conversation around LSU. If they lose this game, go 6-2 in the conference, which just by the nature of going 6-2 in the SEC, you're going to have some really nice wins. When you look at having Florida, South Carolina, A&M, Bama, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, it's 6 league games right there that a minimum 4 of those you would have to win to finish 6-2. So, and that's not even including Vanderbilt and Arkansas. So, LSU is going to be a fascinating test case this year, however this season plays out, because they have by far, by a mile, the toughest non-conference game with respect to Texas going to Ohio State. But I think when you look at Texas's SEC schedule, aside from their trip to Georgia, it's a breather for Texas. So that's why I think Texas and LSU both end up in the SEC championship game, because I think Texas could even lose at Georgia, and that could be their only league loss, and both Texas and LSU end up in the conference championship game at 7-1. See how it all plays out. All right, it's After Further Review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Remember, we're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. All this year, Rouse's is helping you cover the spread for your tailgate. You want muffalettas, mini muffaletta trays, sandwich trays, all the tailgate trays, the little miniature meatballs. Man, the meat pies, the crawfish pies, the plates of ribs. You want all those platters for if you're not making the trip up to Clemson this weekend and you're going to be at home having a game watch, let Rouse's take care of everything for you. Call ahead, tell them what you want, what time you want to pick it up, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. It's ready for you at the deli. You go snag it. They've also got tons of desserts. If you want the LSU purple and gold or black and gold for the Saints, centerpieces in the floral department, they can do that for you as well. All your drinks, beers, wines, bourbon for the adults, all the drinks for the kids as well. They got you covered at Rouse's, celebrating 65 years and all this football season, helping you cover the spread for your tailgate or your home gate. Rouse's, this feels like home. Okay, it's After Further Review. Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Florida Gators.
Billy Napier confirmed Monday that DJ Lagway will start the opener against Long Island. Lagway's battled a couple of injuries this offseason, but Napier said DJ has been a 100% participant here for several days, so Lagway will get the start in the opener against Long Island.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky's got their starting quarterback as well. It's a familiar name, Zach Calzada. He'll start against Toledo Saturday at Kroger Field. Calzada is in his 7th season. Remember, he started at A&M, then went to Auburn. He's been at Incarnate Word the past couple of years. Now is back in the SEC and the starting quarterback at Kentucky.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Sounds like Alabama will not have Jaden Roberts available at right guard when they go on the road to open the season at Florida State. Kalen DeBoer has listed Roberts as questionable for the opener. He is currently in the concussion protocol. If Roberts is in fact out, Gino Vandemark would be the presumptive starter at right guard. That means Alabama would be without their starting right guard and, of course, their starting running back, Jam Miller.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn, mostly healthy, but a few notable injuries. One is wide receiver Eric Singleton, expected to be ready for the game at Baylor on Friday. Hugh Freeze told reporters he's got a knee bruise that he suffered in practice a couple of weeks ago. Also, center Connor Liu limited last week. Kickoff Friday, 7 o'clock Central on Fox between Auburn and Baylor.
The Texas Longhorns.
And Texas has partnered with Austin-based Human or Human? Humann. Human. Nah, we're not going to work here anymore. It's a byproduct of research formed at Texas. It's a cardiovascular supplement. That's good. Anyway, it's a supplement derived from beets. It says it with an unlocked molecule that enhances oxygenation and endurance for athletes. It's really good. Anyway, that's going to be an on-field sponsorship there at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Beets, huh? You eat beets, Muse? You like beets?
I don't think I've ever had a beet in my entire life, to be honest with you. Yeah, no, I'm serious.
Come on, Cassie.
I'm serious.
You've had a beet in your B-E-E-T? A beet?
No, I've never eaten beets.
Not a... That's drop the beat. That's B-E-A-T. Like Beats by Dre.
Yeah.
The headphones.
Those are great. I do have those.
I used to have a pair of those. I wore them in here for a lot of years. And then the little earpiece broke and it fell. Huh?
That's what I'm wearing mine right now.
Oh. That's beatboxing.
It is. It is. So, I mean, you Beats, big Beats guy? You
I don't know
eat
if
a lot
I've
of
ever eaten Beats. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
What are you doing? I mean, I said that and you were like, oh, come on.
It's my show. I get to do what I want.
I mean,
it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break and wrap up hour number one next.
AFR.
This is a radio tatership. We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air. Not a radiocracy. He was waiting for the bell. River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out. You know where to find them. You see the big yellow vans and trucks driving all over town because so many of our friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 Hour Air the same way I do and have for years and have told you for years to trust River City's 1 Hour Air. Brent Stanfield did that. He sent this 5-star Google review. Ralph Malevo, his technician, did a great job. Very friendly and efficient. Would highly recommend. Might be Melevo, but it's probably Malevo. I'm going to go with Malevo. Lots of vowels, but regardless of how you say it, Ralph did a great job, and your technician will as well. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Give them a buzz if you have an issue with your AC. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
If it's happening in Louisiana sports, you'll find it at louisianasports.net. From the New Orleans Saints to LSU to SEC rivalries, recruiting buzz and sports betting headlines. We've got the stories that matter. Check it out now at louisianasports.net. Also, make sure you visit the Our Partners page.
Yeah, do that.
It's where you can find all of our partners that sponsor each show here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. You can work with them, which you should do because they're all great.
We're wrapping up hour number one and glad to have you hanging out with us here. If my tone's changed, admittedly, I just got a little bit of bad news in the break. So we've been in the studio a long time, and normally my device connects, my laptop device connects to the console where Paul usually is, where Cassie is now, and it allows them to take my screen. So if you're watching on YouTube or WBTR, a lot of times when you see graphics or different things like that, you'd see my screen. We'll frame tweets and just a lot of other stuff to add some visual elements. Well, past several weeks, my device that I've used for years just not been connecting properly, whatever. So I have a new one. So we've gone a couple of weeks not having that component, which is disappointing for me. And Bo just brought in my new device. It's supposed to work. Plugged it right in, and it's not connecting. So I'm a little disappointed. That really only affects me. And actually, I mean, if you're watching, it probably to some degree affects your visual consumption experience on this show. But I'm sad for you, is the way I'd put it. It's a bummer.
You versus the device is another great rivalry. Not quite to the level of you versus the chairs, but you versus the device is it's a budding rivalry. We'll put it that way.
Me versus the chairs there were physical altercations.
Yes.
If you're not familiar, our vice president market manager, Gordy Rush, decided to make that a bit for many years, where he would just try to find the worst possible chairs he could for the studio. But back to the point where when I was the only host on the station. At one point, he literally went to an old bank sale, like a bank had closed down, and found a bank teller chair that's like brown cloth. That chair might still be somewhere in this building. Probably is. But you know what I'm talking about? Like brown cloth.
Yeah, I got you.
With the pump so you can go higher or lower. And the footrest was not affixed to the base. So if you moved wrong, it would sling out and go boom, and you hear metal on metal clanking. It was atrocious. And then there's the chairs that just compress down all the time. Those still are hanging around here. At one point, he got me a director's chair, which is the one in the meetings in Studio 4 that people always are like, this is awful. I mean, yeah, that was our studio chair for a while because Gordy was just trolling me. And there was one point where I literally just took a chair here and I just threw it over there.
I remember that.
Just threw the chair. Physically I think I might have chipped the end of the desk. Probably some dents on the set. I just threw the chair. But yes, I'm getting there with this device situation as well. right, it's after further review. By the way, LSU and Clemson play on Saturday.
That's true.
I'm not sure if you knew that was coming.
There'll be some physical altercations in that game.
Could be. Yeah, the thing I was going to do here, I can't do because I don't have my screen available to me. That's disappointing. And I closed out my email and all the tabs that I had open in the last one. Anyway. Let me read a text then into the show. You can text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Greg Lehman said, what?
I just never know where this is going to go with Greg. So, yeah, it's normally pretty good.
He said, Clemson radio is heavily speculating the pitch count for Nuss is a sign he's not anywhere close to 100%. Can you respond to this speculation? Pitch count being that he didn't throw on Saturday. I will respond to that, actually, Greg. As a matter of fact, Muse, you want to look at the rundown, what it says at the first segment there of hour number 2?
Yeah, it says Saturday practice report.
That's what we're going to do right after the top of the hour. And notably, the media was invited to watch LSU's workout in Tiger Stadium. A smidge disappointed, thinking we were going to watch a scrimmage. It was most definitely not a scrimmage. I don't want to give any false pretenses there. This was not a scrimmage. They practiced for about 90 minutes under the lights in Tiger Stadium. There was some 7-on-7, 11-on-11 work. But mostly what this was just a dress rehearsal for the Clemson game. And I'll explain when we get deeper into that. But I do, and by the way, I asked Brian Kelly today, at his Monday press conference, specifically about Garrett Nussmeier not throwing. That was one of the big takeaways from Saturday was Garrett Nussmeier did not throw a football the entire time 90 minutes, he did not throw a pass. 7-on-7, 11-on-11, a red zone, DB receiver drills, didn't throw a pass. So I do have some thoughts on that, and we'll get to that coming up after the top of the hour. All right, it's after further review. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, we're going to get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. I will give you my Saturday practice report. We'll talk some Saints with Ross Jackson here in about 20 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit because since 1916, First South Farm Credit has done one thing, and they do it better than anyone else. They help Louisianians buy land. And not just in Louisiana. This is important. You want to buy a hunting property in Mississippi? First South Farm Credit. You want to buy that ranch in Texas? First South Farm Credit. You want to buy a big old 1,000-acre tract of land up in Idaho and go farm some potatoes? First South Farm Credit can help you do it. Because if you're buying land in the lower 48, they can help. Maybe you just are looking for a tax write-off. A timber property can be a great tax property for you if you talk to your CPA and see if that's something that might serve you in your financial situation. FirstSouthLand.com. Make your first call to First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com.